welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, in recent weeks, we've been inundated by reports of excesses in government spending, from the $12,000 a month villa rented by Governor Kenneth Mapp, pricey hotel stays, and a request for new ceremonial vehicles. One senator wants to take a closer look at government spending, specifically using government credit cards. News 2's April Knight has that story.
With fiscal problems roiling in various government agencies, coupled with reports of unfettered spending by top government officials, one lawmaker is asking the VI Inspector General to conduct a massive audit of government credit cards.
What has happened is because the community has become alarmed as to the proliferation of cards and usage, I thought it was more appropriate that we give it to an entity, which is the Inspector General, that provides with standard best practice procedure.
The request came after highly publicized discussions of Governor Kenneth Mapp's spending habits using government house credit cards. Liebert, however, says the request for the audit is not directed at any one government official.
Across the board, yes, because it would be, I'm not singling out the one entity, everybody. I think it's fair and it's the right thing to do.
The requested audit would span all government entities using taxpayer-funded credit cards. Liebert said he understands that it's a massive undertaking. He says he has gotten some response from the Inspector General, whose office is also strapped for manpower. Liebert, however, is confident that the audit is going to happen, and soon.
I suspect that he will take it on. It's probably going to be, take another month or two. So I'm not looking forward for a complete audit till sometime early next year.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
No official response yet from the Inspector General's office on whether they are indeed taking on the task of auditing government credit cards. The Coral Bay community is pleased to announce that the hiring of a first full-time executive director, Lauren T. Hunter, Dr. Lauren Hunter, and she has over 10 years of nonprofit fundraising experience and comes to CBCC from Chicago, where she worked as the corporate membership officer with the Museum of Science and Industry. Previously, Lauren worked for Planned Parenthood Federation of America in New York City. She has worked in administrative development, fundraising outreach, event management, and grant writing. CBCC's agenda encompasses many areas, from stormwater management and environmental restoration to community improvement projects such as repair and painting of the Agricultural Center building and events. Senator Novell Francis Jr. has met with senior officials from U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and the Board of HIDA to discuss ways that local and federal initiatives can align to combat criminal activity in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The meetings, which took place on Tuesday, October 13th in San Juan, Puerto Rico, they were organized by Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett. Francis and Plaskett also questioned Marcelino Borges, Director of Field Operations for the San Juan Office of Field Operations, about removal of the trade barriers between the Virgin Islands and other Caribbean islands, which presently restrict opportunities for farmers to sell their products to the greater Caribbean market. Well, as we reported on Thursday at 1:24 p.m., both units from the Fire Service's hotel company responded to a possible structural fire at number 2809 Cecilia Gata. Firefighters came upon a two-story residential dwelling fully engulfed in flames. The fire chief says the fire is under investigation. Meanwhile, family members ask for your help. Mother, grandmother, and great-grand Miriam Muhammad lost her home in that fire. The family said Mrs. Muhammad have lived in Savannah for over 40 years. She is the former wife of Shabazz. Many of you remember of Shabazz restaurant in the 70s and 80s. She is a former owner of Muhammad's Daycare and a former foster mother of the year on St. Thomas. Family member says she is doing well and will be flying to Orlando this Sunday to stay with family.
There are no injuries. She was actually in the house sleeping at the time. One of her former young men that she helped raise actually was passing by to say hello to her and noticed fire coming out of her bedroom and near her bedroom in the home, and he was actually able to awaken her and get her out the house. She basically was so occupied downstairs. Above, we did have one of our sisters stay above with three small young teenage children that basically lost pretty much everything they had as far as clothes and whatnot. And they're taking donations at Sunrise Daycare on First Avenue behind Kmart. We just started a GoFundMe account at GoFundMe.com/JK6NCWMC, or you can visit our Facebook page, Facebook at Hamid Mohammed.
In other news, every year a division within the University of the Virgin Islands tries to address healthcare issues, especially as it relates to people of color. They began 8 years ago, and now the Health Disparities Conference is still going strong. And the last day of that 3-day conference ended today, Friday, on St. Thomas. NEWS2's April Knight has some of the highlights.
For the 8th year in a row, some 100 health professionals from across the country gathered on St. Thomas for the annual National Health Disparities Conference. This year's theme is Eliminating Health Disparities in Minority Communities. The event is organized annually by the University of the Virgin Islands Caribbean Exploratory Research Center, or CERC, led by Dr. Gloria Callwood.
Very pleased that we have been able to organize this conference that brings together people from all across the United States, the Caribbean.
There were various lectures and sessions. The Donna Christensen lecture featured Dr. Kimlin Ashing from the Beckham Research Institute. Her lecture was focused on disparities in cancer care.
The dynamic persons that we have as keynote is Attorney Matthew.
The keynote speaker, meanwhile, focused specifically on racism and policymaking in healthcare, and how the media affects perceptions of certain groups of people, ultimately affecting the quality of care they receive.
People of having certain characteristics, and it's sort of like background noise, so that when there is an encounter of a provider with a client, not only does that person hear what the client is saying, but they have this background noise that also impact how they see and then treat this person.
Organizers hope that their participants not only take home a lot of information, but also spread the word to help eliminate health disparities altogether. Reporting for NEWS2, I'm April Knight.
The Virgin Islands Department of Health drew a crowd at Tutu Park Mall on Friday during their flu outreach. From infants to the elderly, residents lined up to get their free flu shots, which, according to organizers, is a necessity now that flu season is peaking again in the territory.
We have had over 60 clients so far, including infants. It's very important to get flu shots because right now we are in the flu season and it goes up to May. Many people die throughout the U.S. From influenza, and here it is, we have a vaccine that can prevent that illness.
And here are additional flu shot events on Friday, October 23rd from 9 to 2 at UVI. On Wednesday, October 28th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Crown Bay Center. On Friday, October 30th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the AARP office in Sunny Isles. And on Thursday, October 22nd, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Morris de Castro Clinic, Cruise Bay, St. John. Well, keeping an eye on the economy, here's a look at our New York Stock Exchange with a stock market watch. As you can see, everything up. The Dow 74, NASDAQ 16, S&P 500 9. Coming up on NEWS2, World Food Day recognition and domestic violence awareness events underway this weekend. Details coming up. What a great way to end the weekend. Welcome back. Well, as we shared earlier this week, St. Thomas native and author Yesin Hall is on a mission to end the stigma of mental illness in the Virgin Islands. She has brought her team of mental health professionals. The team have volunteered all of their services to the community, and events begin this weekend, October 17th at Winston Raymond Recreation Center.
Dr. Constantine is going to be talking about what are the myths of mental illness, how the community can help, what are the signs and the symptoms. She's going to go deep into depth about the knowledge of the history of mental illness. Is it environmental? Is it cultural? Is it hereditary? She's going to be discussing those issues. We kick off on October 17th at Winston Remote Center from noon to 5 p.m. On October 18th, we'll be at the Beach Jam with the Family Resource Center to come out and meet the team. October 19th, we're speaking to the counselors and nurses for Department of Education. And later on in the afternoon, we're speaking at Adelita Conquine Junior High School. And on the Tuesday, we will speak to Eudora Ken and Charlotte Amalie High School. And then on the 21st, we're speaking at Julius Brown School in St. John, as well as Moravian School, and then we're flying over to St. Croix. We're going to speak at the Boys and Girls Club in Frederiksted, St. Croix, and then go over to our community event, which is at St. Luke's AME Church in St. Croix from 6 to 8 p.m. And then on the 22nd, we're speaking to Arthur Richards School. And then we're doing the walk with the Women's Coalition Center at the Visual Walk for Domestic Violence.
Now, events kick off again October 17th this weekend at Winston Ramo. The team will also be speaking at the Alfredo Andrews School, the St. Croix Federation of Teachers, then back at the Winston Ramo Center on October 24th. Now, events for Family Resource Center, Domestic Violence Awareness Recognition. Yasin will be present at those events, including that she just mentioned, the 39th annual October Sunday Beach Jam. That's this Sunday at Megan's Bay Beach, Shed number 4 from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. There will be live music, raffles, plus many special guests. Also, don't miss Jessica Henderson's Gospel Drama Project, In Her Shoes. That's the title, and Auntie Minta. Family Resource Center has partnered with this project. It's focused on domestic violence and victory. And then on October 23rd, 24th, 25th, it's all being held at 7 p.m. at the Reichel. You can find out what happened before the woman at the well Bible story. There is no cost to attend, and an offering will be collected to benefit the victims being served at the Family Resource Center. There will also be a panel discussion after each performance. Well, today, the Senate, in conjunction with Senator Kurt Violet, chairman of the Committee on Health and Hospitals, held 2 simultaneous health awareness forums in both island districts. It focused primarily on the various forms of cancer. The theme is Finish the Fight Against Breast Cancer, and lawmakers learned much from the many entities who joined in.
I think it's a wonderful cause. It shows that the legislature and particularly the legislative staff really cares about this worthy cause, and I'm very proud of them. As you can see around us, there are many that are participating in today's program, and like I said before, it's a worthy cause, and I am glad that we're really getting into it.
Are you curious about your roots? If you want to get started and aren't sure where to begin, or if you started and need help with getting further in your research, you can attend the Caribbean Genealogy Library's open house in Alcoen's Plaza. October is officially listed as Family History Month within the U.S. It's a time to reflect on roots and celebrate unique histories and identities. Again, that takes place October 17th this weekend from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The public is welcome to come have a tour of the library and learn about the wonderful books and resources available for learning about Virgin Islands history and families. Well, a wonderful donation to mention, the Rotary St. Croix Mid-Isle granted 20 iPad minis to a kindergarten classroom at Alfredo Andrews Elementary. Ms. Thurland Perez, the classroom teacher, was the recipient of one of the many educational programming grants given out by Rotary Mid-Isle each year. She said the students were very excited about the program. She will be using the iPads in the classroom for various engaging educational programs. Rotary Mid-Isle is now accepting applications for their 2015-2016 Educational Grants Program. Grants will be awarded up to $5,000, and the deadline for application is November 30th, 2015. Contact Kim Deline at 340-227-7095. In recognition of World Food Day, the St. Croix UVI Cooperative Extension Service, in conjunction with Rotary Mid-Isle, hosted the 4-H Hunger Banquet. Approximately 120 local students and volunteers participated in an exercise to learn about how hunger and poverty are created and affect the world's population.
And they're coming in today to learn and get up close and personal with the issue of hunger and poverty. So we're actually working through a kind of a simulation activity whereby they're broken up by luck of the draw, literally, because what we will learn today is that oftentimes people have no control over the circumstances that they're born into. Half of the world resides at the poverty level or lower and suffers from hunger on a chronically hungry. Certainly thank all the schools for coming out to this event, but certainly look forward to seeing everybody on Sunday right here on the Albert A. Sheen campus for World Food Day. It's from 12 to 6. Again, the only admission fee is a canned or a non-perishable food item. Some great opportunity for families to come out and enjoy a day here at UVI with us.
Well, Dominica relief efforts continue, and this Sunday, the Dominica Relief Committee is presenting a gospel concert from 5 to 8 p.m. at the BCB Auditorium. Many churches and schools are participating, as you can see on the flyer there. Many participating guest artists as well, including there will be some guest appearances by Harella Goodwin of St. Croix, Colonel Eddie Charles, Ali Duran, Sherwin Williams, Clarence Husbands, Allison Francis, Angela Rollins, Derek Tavernier, the Dominica Association of St. Thomas Singers, and Fourth Dimension. Now, there will also be other events coming up on October 24th and 25th. We will have more details next week. Tune into News 2. The VI National Guard celebrates 42 years of service to the nation and the territory. The Virgin Islands National Guard is scheduled to celebrate that 42nd birthday during a commemoration ceremony Monday, October 19th at 11:30 a.m. at the Brigadier General Gerard James Senior Joint Force Headquarters Drill Hall, and that's in the Estate Bethlehem Military Compound in St. Croix. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.